Hello and welcome to this month's edition of Chamber Chat. And as always, I'm joined here by Mike DeCastro, President of the Revere Chamber of Commerce, and Bob Upton, Executive Director of the Revere Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah. And so during this segment of the show, we like to talk about what's going on within the chamber at this point in time, things that we've got active right now, and some of the things that are coming up. And of course, one of the most major items that we've got going on right now, of course, is the legislative luncheon that will be coming up on September 14th. I think that's a Thursday at the Casa Lucia. And we're going to have Speaker DeLeo, Senator Boncour, and Representative Rosalie Vincent. All present for that, and we'll also be joined by the mayor, I believe.
Yes, he's coming.
Yep. What other items might you want to add to that?
I'd say the doors open at 11.
Yep.
I think if folks are watching this in advance, please make your calls, reserve your tickets. We're selling tickets right now. We have had folks calling in for tables of 10 reservations. It's going to be a very well-attended event, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We're also getting calls with interest in sponsorship. We will certainly talk about our sponsorship opportunities, I would imagine, in this segment, but we're also going to make them available on the screen so people will be aware of that. But this should be an exciting time for us. For the Revere Chamber of Commerce, this is actually our first annual legislative luncheon, and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's shaping up to be a premier event, and one that we hope to be able to do every year, and we'll plan to do every year, actually. And also the other thing that's worth noting about this is that the move that we've been making in the chamber to get more involved in the city municipal organization, the mayor's office and city council and places like that, and now also the state legislation, because it's so important.
Right. This is a wonderful opportunity for the businesses to meet the speaker, meet their senator, meet their representative. The mayor will certainly be there, I'm sure, with a number of city councilors, to ask questions that are on their mind and what's going on in the State House.
Yeah.
Bob and I have worked, and especially Bob has worked very diligently with the Speaker's office, Senator Boncour, Representative Vincent, to come up with a schedule that was functioning for everybody. Finally, we were able to agree on a date, September the 14th, and I think that the businesses would be in their best interest to come in and meet the Speaker, meet the Senator, meet the Representative, and ask questions that are on their mind, particularly around small business in the business community.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I was saying, it's so important that that we make this move and establish this connection for the businesses with the people in the municipal agencies and the city governments and so forth that are supporting what makes those businesses run.
Right. And our elected officials have been so supportive of us. Bob can talk a little bit about the grants that we've received from the state, inspired by Speaker DeLeo. And it's so nice for us to be able to have him come to Revere. It is our first annual one. A lot of work went into developing this schedule for them to all come to Revere. And we hope to build on this particular event so that it will go forward in years to come.
I would thank you very much, Mike. As you said, they are very engaged in the communities that they serve. They've been very supportive of the Revere Chamber of Commerce as well as the Winthrop Chamber of Commerce. Both of our chambers have been beneficiaries of an economic development grants, as well as this year we actually got an earmark of $25,000 from the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism, which I think is rather significant in it being an earmark. And I know that these representatives and the senator and the speaker himself, they show up at many of the events in the community, the events that not only that we run, but many of our nonprofits run and others here within the cities that they represent.
Yeah.
And again, this piggybacks on a very successful mayor's breakfast that we had back in the winter time. Mayor Arrigo was gracious enough to host this event with us, talk about what was going on in the city, made himself available for questions, and we had a packed house at that time.
Yeah, and looking forward, and what we're hoping to do is to expand upon this beyond the mayor, beyond the legislative the legislative group from the state, but also to start to hold some forums with some of the municipal agencies within the city, maybe even trying to do something with the councilors as a group, the city councilors as a group. And so there's a lot of things that we in the chamber are trying to do to try and create more of a link
Sure.
with government.
Certainly, there are many city services that the average citizen may not be aware of. I know that my wife and I were able to take advantage of the discount for seniors, and I'll admit to that, for our water bill. Perhaps there are people who aren't aware of that. So having the different department heads come to the chamber, come to our luncheons, talk a little bit about what they do, again, as an extension from the mayor's office, is a huge help to the residents of the community, and not just to the businesses.
I would also like to add that the city councils have been engaged with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
They've attended our events.
Right, they
They've
do.
come to us and they've asked us to support the businesses within the wards that they represent as well, and in other businesses throughout the city that have needed ribbon cuttings or a little bit of promotion about the business and the initiatives that are taking place by those businesses in that area. So we at the Chamber of Commerce, we have become much more engaged with the city councilors, the mayor's office, and in prior administrations we were involved in other areas as well. But I think at this particular time we seem to be a little bit more involved, and I think it's because of yourself, Ed, and Steve Williams at Rent-A-Tool. You
Yes.
guys took the initiative and the lead in forming the Government Affairs Committee. And I think through committees, the Chamber of Commerce can be much stronger in that way to serve the businesses and the community.
Sure. And just one thing about the city councilors, they are at all our events. They are strong supporters of the chamber. You'd be hard pressed to be at an event where some, if not all, of the city councilors are present.
For sure, and by talking about the city councilors, in a sense, is not to say that they weren't supportive of the events, but
Sure.
we're looking at other ways to try and engage
Sure,
them
of
even
course.
more,
Of course.
and to engage government and municipal agencies even more.
And if I could just, and
Go.
not to
Go.
interrupt, but I think this is probably an appropriate time for us to acknowledge the recent passing of Bob Hass.
Yes.
Such an important force within the community of Revere itself for so many years, but also one of the founders of the modern Revere Chamber of Commerce. And that's a significant loss for the city as well as the Chamber of Commerce. He was a great leader in both areas.
Getting back to the legislative luncheon, and again, it's on September 14th. It starts at at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Almost forgot what time. I was going to say 1 o'clock.
Noontime.
Noontime at the Casa Lucia. Tickets are $30. The other important part to it is though, although it's the chamber legislative luncheon, it is open to everybody within the city. Right. So you don't have to have a business within the city. You don't have to be a chamber member to attend this event. So we want to make this an event that everybody could come, particularly businesses, but anybody to hear from the state legislature.
People can find out about the purchasing of tickets and the reservation of tables by going to the Revere Chamber of Commerce's website at reverechamber.org, at our Facebook page as well, and we have a Twitter feed that people can follow us on Twitter. But they can also call the chamber office, of course, and we'll restate this and put this up on the screen, but they could call 781-289-8009 and make their reservation.
And we've just printed the flyers, and those will be posted in store windows throughout the city. So keep an eye out for those. And as Bob mentioned, you can go out to reverechamber.org.
Right.
Information is out there, and the number once again.
The telephone is 781-289-8009, and we're also doing email blasts. And as I said, we're promoting this on all of our social
Where
media.
will that? When will it be in the Journal, Bob?
It's been in the Journal for the last 3 weeks.
That's the
It's
other
in the
one.
Journal
And
and
the
the
Advocate.
Advocate the last 3 weeks. I think it's also been picked up as a story in the Lynn item, and if it hasn't yet, it will be. They've told us that. But this is being promoted all throughout, not only our own social media, but those folks that are following us. So we are getting the word out.
We're really excited to have the speaker. He's such a cool guy, and we enjoy listening to him talk about what's going on in the state. And he's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is, and that's what the businesses need to hear.
And they suggested to us that we have it in this time frame. If they're interested in getting out there in front of our business leaders and the community and talk about what they are doing in support of the communities that they represent. So this is an opportunity for them as well, and it's no secret that we want to show our appreciation, and that's another reason why we'd like them and we are having them at our first annual legislative luncheon.
Yeah. So it should be a good time. So get your tickets early. We are expecting a full house where we're going to blow out the walls on this one, I think. Of course, we have some other activities going. First coming up is the Revere City Street Festival, which will be held on Broadway on September 23rd, I think.
That's
if
correct.
I'm right.
Yes, you're right.
You want to talk a little bit about that,
Well,
Mike?
it'll be like a huge block party. The city is going to be shutting down several of the streets. You'll look in the papers to make sure that you're not parked in that area or driving through that area. And it's going to be a huge festival. And the city is welcoming anybody who wants to attend with a table, with their goods, and with their services. Please contact the mayor's office, and they'll be able to help you with that. Or you can go online. I think, what is it, cityofrevere.org? I'm not.
Revere.org.
Revere.org. There you go.
I can also tell you that there are email blasts going out to promote that. I know that that initiative, of course, is being led by the mayor's office, but there are some very key contacts at Revere Rec, Revere Recreation. The point people for this event that are actually at Revere Recreation. I know that the existing businesses in place along Broadway are going to be offered the opportunity to put a table out in front of their businesses.
Exactly.
There will be other businesses that will have an opportunity to purchase booth space at a very low cost, very low entry fee. We also should talk about there's going to be a beer garden in operation in front of the American Legion.
Live bands and a stage up
Yes,
by the
absolutely.
American Legion.
Yep. And we're looking for sponsorship. The city and Revere Recreation, they're looking for additional sponsorship and support because it does cost the city a good piece of change to do this, but it's also a good opportunity to highlight and give these people the opportunity to promote their businesses in the Broadway Business District.
Yeah, it's great. Looking forward to it. Again, this is the first event of its kind, and hopefully it'll be so successful that it'll get bigger and bigger, like the Scandinavian Festival.
Exactly,
We'll have millions of people coming to Broadway.
And the chamber is so happy to be a part of this because it combines the essence of the chamber with businesses, the city sponsoring this, good family fun. So it combines all of those things that really make the city a wonderful place to live and work in.
And of course, the next event coming up is the Columbus Day Parade. So this is the year that the Revere will be doing and hosting the Columbus Day Parade. I guess. And then we have coming up in November, Small Business Saturday. Bob.
Following the Thanksgiving holiday, as we know, tradition now dictates, there is a Major League Shopping holiday following the Thanksgiving holiday. Small Business Saturday. It's an event that's been sponsored by American Express. The Revere Chamber of Commerce has been a participant, and a participant in that for our small businesses, where we go out, visit the small businesses in Revere. Each year we designate 10 to 15 businesses that we actually visit, but in advance we talk with the small businesses and ask them if they would like to participate in this. We provide collateral items from American Express to some of those small businesses that are going to participate in this. And we think, once again, this is a great opportunity for small businesses to be involved in this process. And I'm going to segue into the membership of the Small Business and Revere Chamber of Commerce, because we would like all businesses in Revere to consider their membership in the Revere Chamber of Commerce. We certainly represent and we want to support all businesses in Revere, but we also need your support through membership in the Chamber of Commerce. And if you're a one-man band, if you're a one-person operation, if you're doing business as, for one person, membership is $100. From 2 to 50, it's $200, and 50 and beyond, it's $300. But we certainly encourage independent contractors, small businesses, and the large businesses that we have in Revere or doing business in Revere. You don't necessarily need to be a Revere-based business. If you're doing business in Revere, we certainly welcome you to do business with our Revere patrons and residents.
And membership certainly has its privileges of being a member of the Revere Chamber. With the number of events that we do, with the number of sponsorships that we get, it's really worthwhile to be a member. Again, we really want to encourage businesses who are not members right now to join with us. And a strong, viable chamber. As you can see, we're very active with the number of activities that we have over the course of the year, which makes it very meaningful for someone to be a member.
And it's encouraging. And if I remember the last time we talked, I mean, we were growing at a rate of maybe 2 and 3.
Well, I'd say anywhere somewhere
maybe
between
more.
2 and 5 new members each month,
Month.
depending on what's happening at that particular
Yeah.
time. But I think 2 to 5 members every single month. We have people that do drop off, but we have new people coming in all the time. We have people calling us all the time. They want to know about what is the benefit of membership in the Chamber of Commerce. Certainly, networking is a very big part of it, but also advertising, promotion, business consulting, the ability to help you to connect with City Hall and some of the inspectional services maybe, or the building department, and all of those things where someone new to the city may not be quite as familiar with that part of it. But we have lenders that we can introduce small businesses to. There's a range of other services and benefits that we can offer somebody. But I think it's really important to be able to have a business owner be able to connect directly with us at the Chamber of Commerce, so we can then do further introductions to others that can help them to build and grow their business.
And with our referral process, any calls that come into the chamber from outside the city or even within the city looking for goods and services, they are referred to our chamber members.
All right. Well, great. Well, I think it wraps it up for this segment. Anything you guys want to add to this month?
Well, as far as the parade goes, we're really looking forward to it. The city has done a wonderful job. Mayor Arrigo and his office, Linda DeMeo, can't say enough about her. Mark Silvestri, I mean, those are the co-chairs of the committee, along with myself, have really done a wonderful job putting the parade together. All the acts are getting together with the bands, the dancers. The parade route is configured the same as last year. We're going to have a great time. God willing, we'll have great weather.
Yes.
And I just hope that I'm not marching behind any of the horses that are in the parade.
Bring your shovel and your basket.
That's
right?
it. There you
I
go.
understand you guys, I believe the parade committee is looking for volunteers.
Yes, actually, thank you, Bob. We are looking for volunteers to help with the staging of the parade. It just doesn't happen by itself. We are looking for individuals to help send out the different acts and bands at the appropriate time so that the parade can proceed in an orderly fashion. So anybody that would like to become a member, please call the City Hall, ask for Linda DeMeo, and let her know that you want to be a volunteer.
Great, great.
Revere Fire and Police, they do a great job. The DPW does a great
Absolutely.
job. But really, the division captains and the people that can help to keep that parade organized all add to the success and the good time that's had at the Columbus Day Parade.
Good. We'll give you a T-shirt, and we'll send you on your way.
There you go. So now we turn to the section of the Chamber Chat where we feature one of our members each month. And this month we have Beach Sales, who has been a member for over 20 years, probably maybe 30 years at this point, but have been a part of this city for 70 years. And they were just celebrated earlier this year by the city council in the city for being in the city for so long. And with me today is Alan Belinfanti, one of the owners of Beach Sales, along with Sandra Belinfanti, your wife.
Correct.
And Howie Friedman. Sandra was the daughter of
Sumner Friedman,
who started the business.
Exactly.
And Howie, of course, the son.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Alan,
Thank
and
you.
it's great to have you here, and congratulations on your 70 years.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's always great to have different and feature different members here and so forth. Tell us a little bit about Sumner and how he got the business started and how he came about to do it.
Sure. Well, he came back from the war, World War II. He was a Navy veteran. There's a whole other story there, but we'll save that for another time. And he went to work in a stationery store in Lynn. It was Allen Stationery. Nothing to do with me.
Yep.
It was Allen Stationery, A-L-L-E-N. And he learned a trade of repairing typewriters and adding machines at the time. And that was right
Typewriters,
after
what
the war. People don't even know what a typewriter is
Right.
anymore. And then he decided to go into business himself and do repairing typewriters and so forth. And he opened a very small shop on Shirley Ave, almost on the corner of North Shore Road, the first shop next to the Elks.
Mm-hmm.
And he started repairing typewriters and going on the road to offices, and he'd change all the ribbons to be all, people on the typewriters and so forth. And then his wife, Selma, my mother-in-law, who we lost a little over a year ago, she went into work with him, and they started selling greeting cards. So it was a greeting card and a typewriter repair shop. And then it went on from there Kodak came in and said, would you like to sell some film? Or would you like to do film processing? Another thing we don't do today because everything's digital. So then it led to that, and then somebody said, can we leave a few radios here? Maybe you could sell a radio. And then it just kept matriculating from there.
Yeah, it's amazing how things just kind of evolve.
That's how it was. It evolved.
And begin, and then before you know it, it's one of the premier appliance stores in the area, not just the city for that matter.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, so you were at Shirley Ave for 33
From 1947 till 1980.
80, so 33
Right,
years
yeah.
you were at that location. Now, did you expand at that location? Or
We
did you-
had 3 or 4 different locations. We were in, before my day, they were in the Orr Square building, which had an Orr Square fire, which was a fatality there.
Yeah.
And we were on the basement floor there, the first floor, not the basement. And then we moved from there to 203 or 205 Shirley Ave, and that's where we were.
So there was a fire there while you were there?
Wild Beach Sales was there, yeah, exactly.
And what happened to the business at that point?
We moved, that's when we moved up this, that was on the corner of Orr Square, right near the,
Right.
across from the train station. And
I
they
mean,
moved
in
to
terms of
203.
damage to the business and business.
I wasn't a part of it then,
Oh,
so I
okay.
can't really
Yeah,
say.
okay.
I know that was before credit cards and so forth, so I know the fire department put a rope around my father-in-law and let him go in the building to retrieve the funds. He was quite a guy. Quite a guy.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Yeah. So you moved from there to your current location at VFW Parkway.
In 1980, 80 VFW Parkway, right.
Yeah. And then again, because of expansion, you just needed more space?
Yeah, it was a better opportunity, a better location. There was construction going on Shirley Ave, and we did need more space. And
Yep.
the business had changed into a major appliance business,
Yep.
refrigerators, washers, dryers. And at that time, we were still doing film and processing, but of course that changed.
And they talk about location. Being on the VFW Parkway, did you find that there was more presence? People saw you more and you had more traffic as a result of that?
Yeah, it was a funny story. We're on Revere Station, so I'll mention George Kalala. There was so much traffic on Shirley Ave. The first week we moved up the VFW Parkway, there was so much traffic on the road was blocked. So George came into the store, he says, we ruined Shirley Ave, now we can't get by VFW Parkway either? I remember that story. George was a good customer of ours as well.
That was a good problem to have,
Yeah.
right? Well, and so, over the years it grew from the card store and the radios, and little by little, before you know it, like you said, a premier outfit. Talk a little bit about some of the keys to success over those 70 years. What?
Well, it's always customer service and knowing your product and knowing your customer. It really is, especially in today's market. But an interesting sidebar, when color TV first came out, RCA was the brand, there was one in the Museum of Science, and the other one was in my father-in-law's house. So as kids, we would go by trick-or-treating time. We didn't want the candy.
Yeah.
He'd have us come in and see the color TV.
Color TV.
So, and from there, we moved into major appliances and kitchen design and so forth.
Yeah, that's interesting. So they wanted to give him one of the first ones
Right.
to
Right,
showcase,
exactly.
if you will. Yeah. You mentioned earlier about being in a buying group, and of course part of the discussion was competing with the big box stores. Does that help you?
Well, in
compete better with them?
1988 or 89, right around that time, we joined with Intercounty Appliance Group, which is a buying co-op out of Long Island, New York.
Yep.
And very strong business people. There were at the time maybe 50 or 60 members. Today there's almost 100 members. And collectively we're doing almost $400 million. So that's the buying power
Yep.
today that lets a lot of the independents, not just beach sales, compete with the big box stores.
Yeah. So that's how, like, for example, as a group, you become a Costco, if you
Oh,
will.
exactly.
Yeah,
That
okay.
kind of thing, yeah.
Interesting. You've also I read in some of the articles about expanding your customer base to municipal organizations and commercial groups. Talk a little bit about that more than just retail.
Well, we're still doing that. We do
Yep.
a lot of the hospitals in Boston. We do multifamily units, 16 units going on right now in Winthrop and in the North End and East Boston and everywhere. Just multiple sales, yeah.
Yeah. In looking at the business today, and you're a brick and mortar company, and we talk about the internet world. How's the internet impacting you, and how are you using the internet to help your business?
Well, my daughter, who lives in New Jersey, but of course geography doesn't mean anything anymore in advertising, so she handles the internet and the SEM, which is the marketing the end of it, whether it's on Facebook, Constant Contact, or just Google search. We're on with that, and
Yep.
she handles that, and we're very aggressive with that because I had a woman call me from Ipswich. I found out later she was 83 years old. And I said, well, please go to our website, beachsalesinc.com, and look at the stove. And she said, sir, I'm on your website. There's an 83-year-old woman, so everybody's on the website. They know. And your customers, they mention in our industry, when they used to come to your store to shop, they were going to 5 or 6 stores. When they come in now, they have the information. They're ready to shop. So it's changed a lot.
No, and I remember, and I've been to your store a number of times, and have bought some products from your stores too, as well, over the years. And it's the same thing, you know, you do your homework up front, and you come in and you have a general sense for what you're looking for.
That's
but
right.
A large part of it also, as you said earlier, is the service and the quality that people expect when they come, because they know they've got an organization that's going to support
them. A big part of it, it's all that the one word that I like to go back to is trust. They trust us. So they spend a good amount of money, and if something goes wrong with the project, which many times it does, they know they're getting their money back. You don't want to trust that money to a big box store and say, well, we have to go to corporate, we can't get your money right now. I mean, so there's a big trust there. And if they have a service issue, you know, down the road, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask about that, because, you know, that is a big part of it. 2 or 3 years down the road, something breaks, or over the lifetime, you know, its life expectancy goes, and, you know, they need somebody to come in and do a repair. You're available
exactly.
to support people
I had somebody in this week, he and his wife were buying a barbecue from us, and he stopped me and he said, I want to thank you. He said, I had a service issue with an under-counter wine storage. It was 3 years old. The warranty's 1 year. You call one of the big box stores after 1 year, they're not talking to. And I was trying to figure out who helped me. He said, there was a woman helped me, and he said I had 3 service calls, and it finally got replaced. And it was my daughter Allison who was working with us. So I said, oh, great, that's my daughter. You know, so it was nice to hear. But that's the kind of thing we do. You can call us 3 years later.
So one of the questions I have is over time, what's the biggest or craziest deal you've ever done?
That's a good question. Probably some export deals that we've done. We've exported truckloads of barbecues to Germany. At one time, when fax machines were first coming out, we were shipping South America fax machines. So it went to Miami, and then it went from there. I mean, so there's been so much at beach sales that over the years. And it wasn't one fax machine; it was a containers. You know, it was crazy.
Fax machines. I still see people list
I
their
know,
fax
people
numbers. Who uses a fax
Nobody
anymore?
then. Right.
And the last question I have for you, relative to the business, is looking ahead. What are the challenges that you see for kind of maintaining your business and the success that you've had so far?
I think social media even more.
Yeah.
Even though we're part of it, and some of the people mentioned when I walked in here today that you people are cutting edge on social media, it's changing every day. Even more than the search engine marketing, more than Google, or everybody Googles, you have to be out there with constant contact on Facebook and so forth and so on. You really do.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
That's going to be the big thing.
Stay out there and stay out in front of it.
You still see people coming into, if you will, the brick and mortar. You don't see that going away at any point.
I don't think so. They still, even the millennials, so to speak, they'll still come in and they still want to, you know, if it's their investment, they'll still want to look at it, feel it, touch it.
You know, there is something to that, because oftentimes I'm out on the internet and I'm looking and I'm saying, you know, I'd really like to see this product live.
You're not buying a pair of shoes, in other words, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Am I leaving out anything about the business, or any point about the business?
I think we
that
covered
you'd
it.
like
I
to
think
make?
we keep going along, and with customer service, and we thank Revere and the community for all the help over the years, and we're helping 3rd generation now of Revere citizens, basically.
Yeah.
Because at one time it was Revere. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's fantastic, and all of you are, if I had it right, including yourself, born and raised in Revere.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So it's wonderful to see, you know, people from Revere create a business in Revere, and to see it last 70 years.
Oh,
and
yeah. Thank you.
Going on. Well,
Thank you.
Good God willing, somebody will be around and be talking about it at 100 years old.
I hope so. We'll take them 5 years at a time, or 1 year at a time.
Well, it's been a real
Thanks
pleasure,
very
Alan.
much for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much for
Thank
being
you.
our member of the month on this segment, and for the Chamber of Commerce. That's it for our member segment this month.